While this had started off as me just deciding to not put in the work for things, I wanted to be successful, I wanted things, I wanted to make it big, but I just didn't want to put in the work for it, right? So with this conviction, I went along my life, and over time, this second belief started to emerge within me that maybe I'm not destined for success, maybe I don't deserve success, maybe I'm not gonna make anything of my life. Now, does it make sense that Younger Sahaj wasn't trying to improve himself? How do you help somebody who doesn't want to help himself? If there's one thing I could make my younger self believe, if there's one thing I could convince him of, what would it be? I was sitting here yesterday trying to visualize my younger self, Younger Sahaj from first year of university. I was trying to get into his state of mind. I was trying to put myself in his skin so that I could understand what he was thinking at that point of time, what exactly was going on inside his brain, so that I could understand where he was faltering, where his mindsets were fucked up, where he was tripping himself over because of his false beliefs and convictions. The purpose of this was to come out with an entire list of things that I could have told him to help him make faster progress on this journey, and as a result, come out with an entire list of things that I could have told you to help you make faster progress on this journey. I did this for quite some time. I sat there for like 30, 35, 40 minutes just remembering all the experiences that I could remember from that period of time, remembering all the thoughts that I could remember from that period of time. And for just a few moments, I was able to put myself in his skin. I was able to go back in time and relive those experiences as if I was living them firsthand, not as an older, wiser man looking back to his past and thinking, oh, what a dumb fuck, but by becoming the dumb fuck myself. The thoughts that I was having in response to the experiences that I was thinking of, I would have that thought and then I would think, wait, I've had this thought before, and I would remember that those were exactly the thoughts I was having at that point of time. And in the very first few seconds of this, I had this realization that snapped me out of it. I realized that everything I'd been doing these past few months, everything I'd been doing to try to help other young men like Younger Sahaj who are misguided, who have misinterpreted how to live their lives, everything I'm doing to try to help them has been missing this essential step, has been missing this crucial stepping stone, which was probably the greatest leap that I have taken on my journey of self-improvement. I realized that of all of the videos that I've made up to this point, not a single one of them would have helped him in the least. Even if I could have sat him down personally and narrated my experiences, my stories, my learnings to him, he probably wouldn't have derived any value out of it. All of the videos that I've made up to this point, these hacks that I share with you, these mindsets that I share with you, all of them are to enhance your hard work, is to aid you in your efforts to improve your life, right? But Younger Sahaj wasn't looking to improve his life. He wasn't looking to live a better, more fulfilling, more content life. I came out with this realization and was just left sitting there thinking, how do you help somebody who doesn't want to help himself? Now, why was Younger Sahaj not trying to help himself? Why was he not trying to improve his life? That's a deep one, man. That's a difficult one. And I'll be honest, even I'm not completely sure of the answer to that, but I have a hypothesis. I've told you about how I had this conviction, this belief for most of my life that working towards anything was uncool, right? I was convinced that the way to live life was to not give a fuck about anything, was to not care about anything, was to be nonchalant. To younger me, even having goals and aspirations in the first place, let alone working towards them, was uncool, was nerdy. But did that mean that I didn't want to be successful? Of course not. Which kid wants that, dude? I wanted all the success, I wanted all the money, I wanted all the fame. I just didn't want to work for it. I strived to be this happy-go-lucky kind of guy, this carefree guy who didn't give a fuck about anything. I went most of my life without ever trying to pursue anything. And so I went most of my life without achieving anything. Now, here's where it gets worse. Try to understand, try to comprehend what's going on, okay? At a very young age, I have this concept ingrained in me that working towards anything is uncool, that I didn't want to set goals and aspirations, I didn't want to put in the work for anything, and so I never put in any work for anything. I wanted to be the cool guy, I wanted to be the guy who didn't give a fuck about anything, but apparently I was the only one in this race, because people all around me were achieving things, they were setting goals and aspirations, they were working towards them. I'm sure there were people like me too, but of course you only see the people who are doing things with their life, right? So I was here not achieving anything, not doing great at a single thing. Like I wasn't in the 1% at any field, at literally anything, and I saw people all around me excelling at their respective fields, at whatever they chose to set their minds to and put in the work towards. So while this had started off as me just deciding to not put in the work for things, I wanted to be successful. I wanted things. I had big goals, dude. I wanted to make it big, but I just didn't want to put in the work for it, right? So with this conviction, I went along my life, and over time, I saw people all around me achieving things and me being a completely useless piece of shit. And this second belief started to emerge within me that maybe I didn't deserve success. Maybe I wasn't lucky or talented or whatever these people were. Hard work wasn't something I was even considering. I thought, this guy's achieving this and I'm not. Maybe he's more talented than me. This girl is achieving this and I'm not. Maybe she's more lucky than me. So maybe I'm not destined for success. Maybe I don't deserve success. Maybe I'm not going to make anything of my life. And so that became my core subconscious belief, of course, that continued for a very long time. Everything in life becomes a positive feedback loop, right? I thought that maybe I don't deserve success and that's why I'm not getting it. And so I continued not putting in the work because I didn't believe that I could succeed. And so because I still wasn't putting in the work, I kept not succeeding, and that kept reaffirming this subconscious belief of mine. Now, does it make sense that Younger Sahaj wasn't trying to improve himself? He didn't think that he could improve in the first place. He didn't think that he could succeed. He didn't think that he deserved success. And so he decided to save himself the heartache by not even trying in the first place. All of this was subconscious, by the way. I had no idea that any of this was going on inside here. When I realized that Younger Sahaj wasn't even trying to improve his life, I felt this resentment, I felt this hatred towards him, thinking, why the fuck were you not trying to improve your life, man? Like, why were you not trying to give me a better life? Why did you not get onto self-improvement earlier? And then I realized all of these things that I just talked to you about, that he didn't even believe that he could succeed in the first place. So all of his time was just spent trying to keep himself from consciously realizing this. He tripped himself over every step of the way just so that he didn't have to consciously think that maybe he couldn't succeed, maybe he just was too stupid, too dumb to actually succeed. So he had this false conviction that he thought was a fact, and he spent all of his time just trying to keep his conscious self from realizing this false fact that wasn't even true in the first place, man. Fuck, dude. The next question I then asked myself was that if I had this overarching conviction, how did I ever even get myself onto self-improvement in the first place? I realized that I started to turn my life around. I got onto self-improvement. I took the first steps towards building a better future when I, for the first time, believed that I could build a better future. Now, of course, I wasn't smart enough to do all of this on my own. I wasn't smart enough to start believing all of these things on my own. I needed life to slap me in the face for it, and I'm so grateful that it did. The months leading up to the day that I turned my entire life around were hands down the most stressful, the most anxious days of my life. My mind state had never been this fucked in my life. I've talked about this multiple times before. I was just a few months away from graduating, had been trying for over a month straight, cold emailing company after company after company every single day, spending multiple hours a day doing this with not a single response. My transcripts were so bad that I knew that I would be lucky to land even a low-tier college for my postgraduate. I couldn't see any option to save, to redeem myself anymore. I couldn't see any way out. I remember I had multiple sleepless nights during this period of time. I would wake up every night, literally every night, continuously drenched in my sweat after having had a nightmare about something that was happening, about either going into a completely terrible, pathetic college for my postgraduate or landing a job that was way, way, way below anything that I could have ever accepted. During the days, I'd been talking to anybody and everybody that I could get a hold of, all of my old friends, people whom I hadn't spoken to in years, and asking them what they were up to, what they were doing. In response, I heard back 100 different things, just one of which was the GMAT. I didn't make much of it at the time being, but just a couple of nights later, I woke up from another one of my nightmares, drenched in my sweat, and I just sat there and I said to myself, I am going to give the GMAT, and I am going to excel at it. Understand the importance of this for me. This was the first time in my life, never before in my life had I said that I was going to excel at something, that I was going to do outstandingly at something. Instantly, that subconscious belief rose up within me and said, yo, what the fuck? You do not excel at things, you do not do well at things, you do not even succeed, shut the fuck up. Now, normally, this would have been the end of it. I would have dared myself to dream for a second, and my subconscious belief, my self-limiting beliefs would have shot me down instantly, and that would have been the end of it. But I did not have that option anymore. First of all, understand that this was the first time in my life that I was voluntarily giving an exam, because in school you had to give school exams, so I gave them. In college you had to give college exams, so I gave them. I had no option. But this was the first time I was opting to give an exam that I didn't need to give. And secondly, my life situation and my circumstances had lined up so perfectly, or in other words, I had fucked my life over so bad up to this point that I did not have an option to not excel at it anymore. See, giving the GMAT did not have any significance in of its own. If I got just a little above average a score, it wouldn't have had any impact on me. The only option, the only way out was to get such spectacular a score, such outstanding a score that you couldn't expect to see on my resume. But by the way, I did not have any evidence to back this belief up. I did not have anything to conform to, to make me believe it, but I needed the fucking hope, dude. I needed it. So I couldn't even get myself to look it up on the internet. The question that, if I got a good enough score, hypothetically, if I got a brilliant, unbelievable score, could it even potentially counteract a lifetime of fuck ups? I couldn't get myself to even confirm if that was even a possibility or not. I just had to believe. I needed hope to save me. I needed hope to keep me sane. And this was the only hope I had left. I was putting all of my eggs in this one basket because there were no other baskets left. So when this self-limiting belief crept up, when it tried to smash my dreams down, I snapped right back and I said, I really, really, really want this. I need this. I need this one thing to go right in my life. I fucking need to achieve this one thing in my life. I will do anything for it. I will put in 10 times the work as everybody else, but I will fucking achieve it. So in this one instant, I broke down both of these beliefs that had been holding me back all my fucking life. Firstly, that I wasn't going to put in the work towards things. I said I would put in 10 times the work as everybody else. Second, that I couldn't succeed. I decided that I was going to excel at it. There was no other option. I genuinely believe that it was this second belief that was the one that fucked me over, that consumed me, that shattered all my dreams, that broke all my hope. Because the first one did not have that power, dude. The first one, the belief that I don't want to put in the work towards things, was a childish, was a bubble that I was living in. If it was just that, I don't believe it would have sustained for that long, because let's see how it would have played out, right? I would have started out with this belief that I don't want to put in the work towards things, but I had goals, I had dreams, I had aspirations. I wanted to make it big. So soon enough, I would have realized that, this one thing is pulling me down. It's holding onto my legs while I'm trying to reach up for this one thing. I would have just cut it by its roots, right? But it was this second belief that maybe I don't even deserve to succeed. Maybe I shouldn't even, have my gaze set over there. So I stopped even trying to reach over there. That was what consumed me. That was what stopped me from making anything of my life. Because if you don't believe that you can succeed, you will never succeed, dude. And the worst thing is that it's very, very easy for this small little belief to pop up in your mind, right? That maybe you tried to achieve a few things, maybe you tried your best to excel at some things, but you just for some reason weren't able to. It's very logical, it's very rational for this one thought to come up, that maybe I don't deserve to succeed. And that one small belief can then over the years expand and just consume you, dude. Okay, maybe you deserve success, maybe you don't, but don't you at least want to give yourself a fair shot at it? Dream big, set dreams that give you goosebumps. I can't even imagine, I don't even want to imagine how many people have been consumed by this stupid ass fucking belief, dude. How many people who deserved all the fucking success in the world, who should have made it so big, who should have done so much with their lives, just because of some experiences in their childhood, just because of a couple of failures, they started believing that they maybe didn't deserve to succeed, and then spent their whole lives just fulfilling their own prophecies. Coming back to the question we had started this video off with, if there's one thing I could make my younger self believe, if there's one thing I could convince him of, what would it be? I would make him believe that he deserves all the success in the world. I would make him believe that no matter how big he can dream, no matter how high the goals he sets are, no matter how high his aspirations are, they will always just be a fraction of what he can potentially achieve. So, quite literally, the only thing that will hold him back in life, the only thing that will put a ceiling over his achievements, over his successes, is his own perception of himself. You will end up achieving most of what you think you can. You will end up achieving almost everything that you believe that you can, but you will never achieve something that you don't believe you can in the first place. Tell me which scenario looks better to you. The first one, where I talked about somebody who maybe deserved the world, but because he didn't think he could get anything, he ended up not getting anything. Or somebody who maybe actually doesn't deserve a lot of success, maybe somebody who's actually not destined for much, but he's a stubborn fuck. He just won't stop dreaming big. He just won't stop believing. He just won't stop trying. He has his gaze set upwards and he just keeps going and going and going, breaking through all the ceilings in his way. Which one of them would you rather be? I honestly believe that every single one of you will achieve everything that you believe that you can. Now it's entirely up to you what level you go up to. I wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you in the next one.